Glad to be back. We've got two of the most interesting guys running two of the most interesting companies, I think, in the region to talk to us now. I think you've heard their names, but very quickly, Tarek El Kazzaz, who's the CEO and founder of Qsoft Group, and next to him, Abdullah Mando, who's the founder of UTURN Entertainment in Saudi Arabia. I think the best thing, I'm going to let them talk about their companies maybe for 2 minutes each, and I'm going to cut you off after 2 minutes if you go beyond that, so you have a better sense of what they do. And then I'll ask them a question or two, and then I'm going to throw it out to you guys pretty early on to ask your questions, because I think you'll know more what you want to know about. So take it away.
Okay. Qsoft, a lot of people don't know Qsoft now, but everybody almost here in this room knows about Al-Barnamij of Bassem Youssef.
You guys have heard of Bassem Youssef?
Yeah, okay. So Bassem, everybody has seen Bassem on YouTube, and a lot of people have seen him go to TV, and even now on theater. A lot of people have seen him starting from the laundry room all the way to the Time 100, but fewer people know about Qsoft, which is really the company about creating the star. Qsoft is the holding company and the company that holds the intellectual property rights of Al-Barnamij, and Qsoft is the company that produced and produces Al-Barnamij so far. Qsoft's vision, or what we did with Bassem, was not by coincidence. Qsoft was all about discovering talent on the internet, developing it, and then commissioning and commercializing it. Qsoft is there to make sure that everybody who has content can be discovered, everybody can be developed, and everybody is there to find a business for himself. And so this is basically Qsoft.
All right, take it away.
Well, I have a small correction. I co-founded UTURN with some amazing people. I just want to put this out there. UTURN is an online network. Basically, in simple terms, we're like TV, but online. We're an entertainment network. We create content for the internet. We started in Saudi Arabia in 2010, and we focused on Saudi Arabia, just creating really, really relevant and local content targeting the youth. Today, we started 2 employees, now we have 50 employees. Our network reaches 8 million members. So basically, we have 8 million members subscribe to this network. This is a very substantial amount. The views across this network, we recently passed 400 million views. We have 20 brands. We call them shows. The way it works, we create these shows that are distributed on YouTube and the public platforms, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. And these shows have a mass appeal in Saudi Arabia. So one episode of one of these shows can reach from 2 to 3 million views. We have the #1 show in the Arab world called Ishilli. Ishilli is a comedy that criticizes online videos, similar to the American version, Ray William Johnson. Today, and what we have done in Saudi Arabia proves that there is a substantial amount of opportunity for content creators and monetizing this content in the region. Our main mandate and mission is to actually export our culture to the world through mass media.
All right. So in short, these 2 companies are huge providers of content to YouTube. And let me just start with Abdullah. So why YouTube? Why was that where you started to?
A good question. Originally, we wanted to start our own platform. And then soon we realized that starting a platform is extremely, extremely difficult. So we decided to focus on the most important thing in media, which is content. The best quote that I think we follow is content is king. So what we did, we focused on producing the content, and we looked around what are the best platforms to distribute these videos. And we found that YouTube was the best. We met the YouTube people back in Riyadh in 2010. They had a Google event. This is where we realized they were the best platform to put these videos on, because making a platform as smart and sophisticated as YouTube is an extremely daunting task.
And it was also one of the few choices you had, right, in some ways.
Yes. So the other choices were possibly Yahoo, Vimeo, and...
Right. And Tarek, you guys obviously had a huge hit in Bassem Youssef, but I know you've been thinking about sort of how to develop talent, and particularly how to develop an infrastructure that is more of a factory for trying to produce these sorts of things, yeah?
Yeah, we actually are introducing a project called the Tubestar Network, which is really a manifestation of what we want to do to discover talents. It basically starts by a big call out for the whole region, telling people, guys, you can be talented, guys, you can do something in front of the camera or behind the camera. You can come up with the new format. Then we're going to move to the next step where we'll allow them to submit videos online. After submitting, we'll put them on charts. Putting them on charts, we will be obliged to actually create pilots for them online. This is very similar to what we did with Bassem at the beginning. So this is why we call Bassem our prototype. We are going to discover you through a pilot, and we're going to commission you and put you out there so that people can invest more in you. And our answer here is really, because we working with Bassem intently for the last 2 years, we knew very much every single detail about the internet to TV conversion, how to get an advertiser interested. And just it's worth sometimes mentioning that Qsoft Network itself manages over 1.2 million videos online and generated over 4 billion views only in 2012, and we expect it to increase even by 50% in 2013. So we know our business when it comes to internet video. We know what people like, and our audience is across the world. Of course, mainly focused in the Middle East given the nature of our content. Right. So what we want to do is really give a clear-cut path for talent to be discovered. Bassem was a heart surgeon. I remember when we first talked together, I'm like, I'm a YouTube partner. He's like, what's that? And I'm like, you need to use Twitter. And he's like, what's that? Okay. Right. And now he has over 2 million followers on Twitter and 4 million fans on Facebook. And his channel, which is just for one program, is the leading channel. And UTURN are very close to us. You know, we like the competition. He has like over 1.3 million subscribers on his channel alone. So this is kind of our promise to everyone in the region. We want to tell them, guys, come in here. We are going to discover you. It could be sports, it could be social satire, it could be a show in fashion, a show in lifestyle. It's targeted for everyone and across the region. Right. And we are actually raising a lot of investment to build this infrastructure. And we are making sure that everybody is involved in this building, in the building of this infrastructure, it being talents, it being people even like UTURN, or people, big brands like big media networks like 2454 and NBC. I wanted to ask about
that. I'm going to ask one more question, and then I'm going to throw it out to you guys. So think of your questions, and if you want to, even raise your hand while they're answering, and the microphones can find you, hopefully. So how do you guys see your relationship then to the traditional media? Is it, what has it been, and where do you see it going? Do you see yourselves totally separate, in competition with, working in collaboration with?
Definitely in competition, okay? But the point is, at the moment, we don't think that the playground is leveled. We need to level it together. So Qsoft and UTURN, we have reached out to each other actually, mutually, and we told that we need to together establish this infrastructure and make sure that every MCN, every multi-channel network in the region, the big ones even, and that includes people like Kharabish, we should all work together in instilling this kind of inspiration and aspiration in people to join in and to showcase their talents and utilize it online.
I think it's a similar answer, but I think there's also a big opportunity to work with traditional media, and probably Barnamij al-Barnamij is a very good example that traditional media is more mature financially, so you can monetize better. So there are a lot of good opportunities where we could work together and compete, and that's all healthy for the end user and the advertisers as well.
I actually remember telling these guys of UTURN, let's work together for 2 years and then let's compete very much in 3 years' time.
Questions out there? There's one right here. Is there another one? Another question? We'll go to this one here, and if somebody else has a question, we can get a mic to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, it's really interesting, because first, the guy is a doctor. So how did you discover him as a talent? Did he approach you, or you did the opposite way? Well, another question is the commercial side of it. It's a political program, so how do you where is the commercial side of it? I mean, is it an advertisement model, or there's other hidden entities that's supporting the show?
Okay, approaching Bassem was like so many other startups here. It's really a network thing. Bassem is my friend. We've been friends for over 10 years now. And I knew that from the day I knew him, he's my older brother, and he's a very talented man, and he's very interesting on a one-to-one level kind of deal. And I knew this kind of from our experience with YouTube that internet is more of an intimate experience, and if Bassem can captivate an audience of 5, then probably he would do very well on the internet. So I told him, Bassem, I want to test you in front of the camera. And we set it up for him, and when he went in front of the camera, he was brilliant. He got us 5 million views in 2 months. And I remember the first day he got his first dislike, which was 1 week later, and he was very upset about it. Now 50% of the Egyptian public doesn't really love him, but it's okay. So this is the first part. The second part of the question, which is how do we monetize? Well, Bassem is the biggest show apparently in the history of the Middle East and North Africa, and he attracts over 30 million views every week on his show. This was, of course, last year. So there is a lot of money to be made from one way or the other from here, either from production, from advertising. And an interesting point specifically for this conference is that we pride ourselves that we made this big program while recouping 40% of the investment we made from the internet, which is usually very unusual to get to recoup 40% for a big TV production from the internet. We basically have the highest rate card on YouTube so far in the region. I'm
actually curious to hear Abdullah's thoughts on monetization too, which is obviously a big challenge you guys face, yeah?
Yeah, in Saudi Arabia it's kind of different because we're very limited in terms of working with traditional media and so monetizing through the traditional media. This is why we took the internet route. And also we had this problem that when we started, YouTube wasn't monetizing advertising. And until today, it's very, very little. It's very negligible, basically.
It's mainly, it's advertising is the
advertising from YouTube. So
right.
What we did, basically, we focused on creating advertising inside the videos, so it would be less intrusive to the audience and more effective because we're creating the creative for the client. And we're capable of connecting with the client, the Saudi audience more than anybody else, right. And we would charge premium on that. Fortunately to us, we were capable of convincing most of the advertising spenders in Saudi, whether it's telcos, FMCGs, banks, to actually spend with us. And now we have really, really big clients, and we're monetizing everything from the internet. Mm-hmm. So in Saudi Arabia, I think the dynamic is kind of different because you can monetize heavily online. And I think it's because the consumption in Saudi Arabia is very high. It's the highest in the region, online and in terms of spending.
Actually, Saudi Arabia, in terms of mobile per capita, it's the highest in the world. It's not just highest in the region. Mm-hmm. And we actually love what UTURN are doing with their monetization online because it's really unprecedented. The amount of money they can generate from online products is only something that you can find in Saudi and you can find in UTURN. And this is one of the other reasons that we want to create this kind of alliance where in Egypt we're very good when it comes to TV, and these guys are very good when it comes to monetizing on the internet. Yeah. So we thought if we join forces, we can actually, at least we align together, we can actually all benefit from the revenues in this ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Questions? There's one right there.
You mentioned that you managed to recuperate 40% of your investment through the internet. But what was the impact of creeping into the mainstream media on your monetization process? I mean, when you finally reached to a point where you were being displayed on TV, did that increase your revenue from the internet or had no impact? Would you have survived if you would have stayed only an internet-based program?
Actually, the business plan we had for Al-Barnamig, which was not yet to be discovered back then, we wanted to do this whole, we knew that we are not like Saudi. We cannot make sustained business from the internet directly, so we devised this model whereby we actually are targeting to be on TV. And I remember very well when we signed our first contract with On TV 2 years ago, and we told them, and I remember Bassem and our director, Muhammad Khalifa, and they were so happy to go to TV, and they started to forget about the roots on the internet. And this is where I actually had to put my foot down, and I said, this is really our weight. This is really where we matter. And I remember when we sold the last season, which was the most successful, we did not sell it based on internet, based on TV ratings. We sold it actually based on internet ratings. This is how well we did on social media. This is how well we did on YouTube. This is the kind of sponsor that we'd want to be to advertise with us. And in effect, when we had actually some trouble with our network in the beginning, what really saved us is YouTube, because we aired it and we had the full rights and full control over YouTube. So maintaining this right and maintaining this presence is really what gave us our strength. YouTube loves us, and they told us this: we love you, because you are like one of the only one of the shows that we know around the world, which is a big production on TV, and at the same time you air the content right after TV. This is not normal anywhere, and it's a long format, and it gets us 2 million views every week on the internet. This ended up because we really believed in the internet from day one, that, as I told before, our rate card really is the highest in the region, and we can sustain such a big show on the internet.
Anything you want to add to that?
No.
Okay. Other questions? There's one.
Good afternoon. I'm just interested in how much you're spending on creating the content. Because one of the problems is the cost of that content to make it good. You've obviously got Bassem, which is a great personality, but maybe UTURN, how much are you spending?
Let's start with that one.
It's a very private question to tell you how much we're spending financially, but in many cases we're actually spending more than TV. But the beauty of our model, and I think it's the model that a lot of our partners in the region are doing, such as Qsoft and probably Kharabish, is that most of our production is very digital. So you'll save a lot of cost this way with better quality. So in terms of quality, we probably produce as good as what TV does. In terms of spending today, we in some of our shows, our key shows, we're now spending more than what TV is spending. I'll just give you a range, so hopefully this will help you if we ever work together. A really good episode of one of our shows range between 30K Saudi riyals to 100. So it depends on and this is usually 5 to 10 minutes. Because we own the entire basically production line, so from the development, production, and marketing, so we monetize every single function. And because we started monetizing from the first 6 months, and we were capable of growing per our revenue stream, I'll be glad to tell you that we recoup most of it easily before we actually start spending. So that's good news.
Yeah, another reason why everybody wants to go and monetize in Saudi is that the fact that you can produce an internet show for 100K and still be profitable. In any other country in the region, 100K riyals, you will not be able to recoup your investment when it comes to an internet production. So our answer to it was a little bit different. This is why we came out with the Tubestar Network, which is really promoting pilots in a scalable manner. And scalability entails that we have our own studios and our own production facilities, similar to any other MCN across the world, given like Full Screen, the Maker Studios, and Vivo. All of these people are MCNs that have their infrastructure that is designed, actually not Vivo, but Full Screen and Maker Studios. These people have their own studios that are very much designed for internet production. So you really need to control your economics and make sure that your video is 3 minutes to 5 minutes. And it's done in a high quality yet controlled budget. So quality is very important, the quality of the picture, the angle, you have to have a director, you have to have a full crew producing high quality production, but you really have to very much be careful when it comes to when it comes to the economics and the money spending. So typically, we as Qsoft are seeking that at some point in time, an episode would cost us around $10,000. This is like the full price of an episode. At that point in time, you can actually monetize and make a good profit. And if you do this whole $10,000, still the monetization mainly would be by converting it into TV.
Other questions? One right here.
Could you tell me a little bit more about how it is you plan to work together, what you'll practically be doing, and what it is you hope to achieve? The two companies.
The whole idea of us working together is that when we are talking to big networks or big investors, every country, we come from Egypt, they come from Saudi, and some people come from Jordan, from Dubai, from wherever. every country has its own problems, and people look at they prefer to look at the region as a whole. So we said that if we all align together and make sure that we are all invested together in a specific project that has to do with the infrastructure of discovery and development of talent, then we can actually address investors together, and we can actually address potential international partners together. So this is basically the alliance. In becoming like one front, everyone has his own advantage. We understand TV, they understand monetizing in the internet in the biggest market like the Saudi market. So working together actually makes sense, and it will help us actually create a very nice and whole offering to anybody wanting to support us.
So it's the same, exactly the same, spot on. I'll just add that there are collaborations on a big organizational level. So perhaps and this is what Tarek mentioned, but also there are collaborations in specific brands or specific shows or specific projects, and that we already started, at least in Saudi Arabia. We have a lot of partnerships internally in Saudi Arabia as well.
And now we are actually extending the invitation to UTURN to come, because Bassem is coming back tomorrow for this third season. So we're actually extending the invitation to UTURN to come and attend and actually be a part of one of our segments on TV. This kind of collaboration, you will see a lot of it.
And we accept. And hopefully it will be a really good resort.
Hopefully.
What do you guys think your biggest challenge is? What do you worry the most about?
Writers, directors.
It sounds pretty traditional media.
Production, producers.
I'll sum it up. Basically, it's talent. The biggest challenge for content creation is talent, really, off-screen or on-screen. So I think we share that. Then there are specifics based on the country, but go ahead, continue.
Yeah, let's say, for example, for the case of Bassem, it's one star in front of the camera, and there's around 200 people working in this company. So if we want to create 1,000 people like Bassem, we need 200,000 people, professionals behind the camera. But really, the biggest issue here is the writers, and most of the talents that are actually available in the scene now are really the legends, the older generation. It's very hard to find the 20-year-olds and the 21 and the 15-year-olds. It's very hard to find these people in abundance, so that to give you like good diversity of good content. So again, Tubestar Network is the biggest part of its investment, and actually is making sure that we don't just call out for stars in front of the camera. We'll be calling out for the next director, for the next producer, for the next cameraman, for the next writer, and we want to create an educational facility that teaches people how to develop their talent artistically, and gives people also a good idea about business ethics in media, because this is very much lacking still now. And the most important one is actually expectation management. If a lot of the people who come to you, stars specifically, he would have like 1,000 fans on Facebook, and he's like, give me $3 million dirhams a year for a contract. I was like, you have only 1,000 fans, and they don't get it because they think that they are quite big. So this kind of expectation management and telling people this is your worth, this is how you should be building business, this is where you should be in 3 years' time. This educational process is something that we intend to be working with people like 2454 very much, and people like MBC and so many other people are willing to help us educate talents and professionals behind the camera.
I just want to add Saudi-specific challenges, basically. Other than talents, the biggest problem in Saudi is we don't have any infrastructure when it comes to content production. I think this is not the case in Egypt or Jordan or the UAE. The second issue in Saudi is you have to be, I think in the Arab world in general, you have to be extremely careful about the content you produce and distribute, because there's a certain responsibility when millions of people watch your content. And this is why you have to be sensitive, way more sensitive than your clients, the regulators, and your audience.
And you produce all your content in Saudi?
We produce, yes, everything is produced in Saudi as well, yes. Sometimes we have some productions outside of Saudi, but they're meant for Saudi brands, Saudi shows. Another issue, I think, specific to Saudi Arabia, and this is why it's important that we start reaching out of the region, is the commercial laws, basically. A lot of the commercial laws in Saudi Arabia are still not modern enough to actually, or they're not dynamic enough for a company that is focused on intellectual property. So we're hoping that this would change soon. I think they're working on it. But as a private business, we have to be faster, I guess, than the government.
I also like to add here that there's a big problem with the aspiration of talented people. If you ask a talented person, what do you want to do? It's like, I want to be a big shot at Pepsi. I want to be a big shot in Procter & Gamble. I want to be in a multinational making that much money out of a secure job. This kind of aspiration, if you go to a country like the United States, is completely different. People will go out of their way completely to be discovered, to do their own business. We want to actually help tell people this is part of our investment, is actually reaching out to people and telling them, guys, you don't have to be you don't have to be working in a multinational. You can just film us a 2-minute video, put it online, and you can be just as good as Bassem. This is really what we want to, and you see this very much when you hear the stories of people like an American Idol or something traveling all across the continent with a $50 in his pocket just to have a shot at the front, stand in front of Simon Cowell. This kind of thing gives you scale, and this kind of scale gives you the option and the choice to actually filter down only the best talent.
Right. Okay. We're flashing zeros, so we're going to wrap it up here. This is just a small taste of what they're up to. I'm sure both of them would be more than happy to talk to you outside the forum. We're out of time, but grab them after, for sure. Let's thank them very much. Thank you.